Okay, this is really good. I just want to tell you guys that you ruined my life.
The floodgates have opened on their frontman, Dahvie Vanity.
Dahvie Vanity, you are a very horrible person.
Dahvie Vanity is worse than Elysium.
Lack of remorse is what led you here. Your delusion, your lack of ability to care for others.
If this guy is a literal creature, and as he wants to act like one, I'm gonna treat him like one.
Now the internet will target you, the way you targeted Jessie Slaughter.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a new era on the Curtis Price channel. Now on this channel we like to dive into deep topics and stories which are corrupted by the guilty and expose them so they don't have a leg to stand on. Well, today's video is among one of the darkest topics I myself have ever discussed. We've gone from Gollum lookalikes with even worse receding hairlines to tattoo artists who is addicted to busting fat in shot glasses, to where we are today, exposing the disgusting degenerate known as Dahvie Vanity. State on that. He'll definitely see better days. Better days like behind the rusty bars of a jail cell. But who exactly is this man? Or what exactly is it? Well, that's exactly what we'll be discussing today. The accusations against him, the things he's admitted to, lots of information, which was allocated by the one and only Officer Dong. And of course, we'll also be discussing other things I've uncovered which no one else has shed light on. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. So my friends, here for the backstory. Interested? So Mr. Vanity, the man who started the band known as Blood on the Dance Floor in 2006, which he used to target an audience below the age of 18. He would travel on tour with other influencers such as Jeffree Star, and through the success of his band he managed to accumulate over 2 million followers. Seems like the blessing in disguise, right? Well, unfortunately that couldn't be further from the truth. Dahvie Vanity has actually been accused of sexual assault by 21 women. 21! And most of these girls were actually underage. And your name is Jesus, right? Well, if you're Jesus, then we are the devil himself. But before we dive into the core of this nonsense and dissect this man's ridiculous storyline, all we really need right now is to get this kick-started way into left field. It's not solid evidence, but somewhat evidence of him perceiving himself as everything he's been accused of. But, I mean, that's going to be impossible to find. Surely.
Give me your applause right now. Give me all your applause. I want them all. Give me your applause right now. Give me that Hello Kitty. Give me that Hello Kitty.
Yeah, that's lovely, you know. That's lovely. I mean, that was easier than I thought. Asking a certain individual in the audience to toss their Hello Kitty brand up on stage. Already that damages his credibility massively. Your IQ level really is as ridiculous as the way you dress. I mean, you're having a laugh, right? And don't say some bullshit like, oh, you know, I didn't know she was underage or whatever you want to say. I'm shitting myself. Oh crap, my asshole just twitched. Do not bullshit, because what person above the age of 18 would ever wear anything that resembles Hello Kitty? You know, I hate to be that guy, but Dahvie knew she was underage. I know you're shocked. Take a moment. Looks can be deceiving. Well, actually, never mind. But I guess now would be a good time to actually get to the story on hand. So follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram, and without further ado, welcome to the story of a man who was seduced by the dark side. So just before we begin, I'm not going to bore you with all that 70% of you that watch my videos and subscribe bullshit. I'm just going to plain and simply ask you to subscribe so I can hit 100k by my birthday in June. It's that simple. However, I do recommend you watch my other videos as well, because I do have some awesome characters that you guys would just love to see. I try to be different to other commentary channels, and I think I do a bit of a poor job to that, but I'll let you be the judge. Now for Dahvie Vanity, leader of the band Blood on the Dance Floor, which he used as a way to lure in an underage audience. However, there were already cases on hand before the launch of the band. The first one we know of comes from a girl called Diane Farrell when she was only 14 years old. One Sunday night in June 2007, 14-year-old Diane Farrell sat alone in her bedroom in the dark listening to a Christian radio show where teens discussed their troubles on air. The host, a man named Dawson McAllister, seemed kind. He spoke to callers empathetically and even gave them advice. Diane Farrell picked up the phone and dialed in. When McAllister asked her what was wrong, she took a deep breath, then told him about the man who had her at her home 8 days earlier. A show staffer called the police. The next evening, a patrol appeared outside Farrell's home in Pinellas County, Florida. She was terrified. She hadn't meant to cause any problems. She just wanted someone to talk to. A shy 8th grader who was bullied throughout middle school. Farrell didn't have many friends. She spent most of her free time on the computer by herself. Now, already we can tell where this is going. The man who assaulted her was in fact Dahvie Vanity. This top-class decided to use her shyness and lack of friends to his advantage, knowing she would automatically trust him due to a lack of experience with her social life, which is a common tactic used by many child predators. However, this article does reveal the reason why Diane Farrell was under stress that night. Farrell paced as a police officer asked her questions about the man who she described on the radio. She frequently explained that she didn't know his real name or how old he was. He just went by Dahvie. She met him a while ago on MySpace, where he had a popular page as an Orlando-based hairstylist. Dahvie had told Farrell that he wanted to give her a new look, so he drove across the state to dye her hair at her house. The girl's mother, a single parent with 2 nursing jobs, had to leave for an evening shift shortly after Dahvie arrived. Farrell performed oral on him that night. As an officer pressed for details about the encounter, Farrell's first experience, she started to cry. The 14-year-old was confused about what had happened and afraid of getting Dahvie into trouble. They'd started chatting online in weeks leading up to her hair appointment, and he would often sign off with messages declaring his love for her. They were friends, she reminded herself, and Dahvie cared about her. What would happen to him if she told police that after finishing with her hair, he had forced himself into her mouth? This man is honestly disgusting, and he should be put behind bars a long time ago. As stated in the article, Diane's first experience was with someone who technically raped her, Dahvie Vanity, aged 22. Once her mother was aware of the situation, she asked of the police not to arrest Dahvie Vanity as long as he would cut contact with her daughter. Now, you'd assume Dahvie Vanity would deny these accusations, but he actually fully admitted to them. And what do you think his excuse for forcing himself into a 14-year-old girl's mouth was? He didn't know her age. Lewd and lascivious battery. Penetration of a child between the ages of 12 and 15 by an adult, for which Torres was briefly investigated. It's a form of stationary and a felony punishable up to 15 years in prison. Ignorance of the victim's age is not an admissible defence under Florida law, and 14-year-olds cannot legally consent to sex with 22-year-olds in the state. But ladies and gentlemen, the most frustrating part of all this is the fact the police just let him go without consequences. And then because of that, he went on to sexually assault another 21 women because of how lazy and irresponsible the police were. He did leave Diana alone after that. However, I think it would be good to know how he would actually respond to someone exposing him in this time and age. Here's Lady No Good Attitude's phone number. You, the fans, should totally call and tell her how you feel. Of course, he would result in doxing them. Oh, your balls must be huge. And he calls himself Dahvie, the elite hair god, known as a hairstylist. Very elite indeed, my friend. But you forgot to mention that shit on your head is in fact fake. Yes, massive balls. But since the police did nothing, we can only rely on one man. One man to truly expose this freak. The legend himself, Detective Officer Dong.
I'm holding this motherfucker down! By the garbage bins. Where they keep garbage. Huh? You in here? Huh? Hello? Hello, Dahvie? You in any of these? Hello, asshole? Huh? You in here? Maybe not. Smarter than I thought. Hello, Dahvie Vanity. Holy shit. He's by the tube station. Officer Julie, I found the tape. On my way back to the station right now. The suspect got away. However, we have the tape.
in my possession. This guy is... Good evening, sir. You have any idea why I pulled you over tonight? That's right. Sexual assault, you filthy nonce. But welcome. I am an officer of the law known as Officer Dong. As I was out on my investigation, I discovered a tape which contained a lot of evidence. I think you're gonna want to see this. Firstly, Mr. Vanity, I'm a man of authenticity, something you yourselves lack. So let's say for yourself, when you release some merch which is very short shorts, would you say you're being very authentic with your audience then? Or was the prime reason you made them is because you knew your underage audience would purchase them and send you pictures of them wearing it to you? Yeah, would you say this was authentic? Huh? Asshole. I myself would say you had different intentions, you empty semen carcass. However, ladies and gentlemen, there is in fact another case stored on this tape. Victim, Jessie Slaughter, 10 years old. She was quite popular back in the MySpace days. The story does in fact run quite deep and heavily involves Dahvie Vanity. So you wanna know what I think we should do? I think we should head to the computer, plug this bad boy in, and load up all the files on this tape. And expose this worthless piece of shit once and for all. Yeah. Jessie Slaughter, 10 years old, who allegedly had a friends with benefit relationship with Dahvie Vanity. On this tape there was a link which took me to a website where a lot of people have been posting regarding the situation. I have talked to her about it, and all she had to say was, GTFO, Dahvie and I don't exist. I'm just a fan. But I have also talked to other people who say they did last summer when she was only 10. I cannot believe Dahvie has sunk to this level. Don't know whether the rumour is true, but if it is, he's disgusting. Now this individual also tried to warn Jessie by sending her a police report in 2009, where Dahvie Vanity got charged with sexual assault to the first degree. Now there's also a leaked conversation where Jessie admitted that Dahvie Vanity had sexually molested her. Now Dahvie, I bet you feel real safe right now, considering this allegation is yet to be proven. But I actually have a picture to show you. Interested? Oh wow, is Dahvie Vanity making out with a 15-year-old girl? You make me sick, you furry-headed bitch. Now she actually started to receive a lot of hate from Dahvie's fans, and she used her platform to respond to the hate.
Hey YouTube, it's Jessie Slaughter here, and this is to all you fucking haters, okay? Guess what? You guys are bitches, you know what? You don't faze me. I'm just doing this just so you can tell. I read the comments, I read the messages, I reply to them, but you know what? I don't give a f. And if you can't realize that and stop hating, then you know what? I'll pop a Glock in your mouth and make a brain slushy. Okay? Stop hating on me. You're just jealous because I'm perfect and you're not. Nobody else can be this pretty with no makeup on. None whatsoever.
This didn't do much for her. However, it did spark more people to hate her online. To add on to this, she was accepting strangers onto her Facebook account where it contained a lot of personal information. People even went as far as retrieving her address. And as showed in the screenshot in the beginning, that was in fact Jessie who Dahvie was doxing. Now I'm not sure why, I can't put my finger on it, but for some reason you give me this vibe as if you feel protected in some way. Just because you have the name Jesus. So tell me, dick breath, why would Jesus go out of his way to track down an 11-year-old girl? However, unfortunately, all the hate on the internet was in fact getting to Jessie, and nowhere was safe. She kept having food deliveries, packages, and phone calls to her house. Her entire private life was practically now public. Due to this man right here. Dahvie, a grown man trying to ruin an 11-year-old girl's life. You're a piece of shit, man. You're one big fucking piece of shit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think this segment will really prove how much of a heartless piece of shit Dahvie Vanity really is. Not only did this man expose her entire private life, but he also went as far as pushing her to suicidal thoughts, and then she broke down on camera. Let's play the tape.
Hey, this is Jessie Slaughter. I just want to tell you guys that you ruined my life. My household has been torn ever since you guys started doing this. I haven't been able to do anything.
And don't be saying suicide.
I'm not. I'm saying I haven't been able to eat. I haven't been able to sleep.
Well, guess what? And my daughter's not lying.
Okay, you guys, this is Jessie Slaughter, and
You
I
know
just
what?
wanted to say that you guys have ruined my life.
I'm going to tell you right now. This is from her father. You bunch of lying, no good punks. And I know who it's coming from because I back traced it. and I know who's emailing and who's doing it, and you'll be reported to the cyber police and the state police.
So Dahvie Vanity caused this young girl so much stress and pain. On top of that, he also sexually assaulted her, now forcing her to break down on camera. And somehow this man has a fan base. I smell bullshit. Now, did Dahvie Vanity stop after this, you might be asking yourself? No, he did not. He went on to make a song about her father's quote, "You done goofed." He did not only that, but he also went on to recreate a parody of Jessie's breakdown.
You guys are ruining my life. That's what! I have nothing nice to say about my dog! Don't say I'm recording this! I report you to the cyber police! And the state police!
It really does disgust me, Vanity, the lack of remorse you have for others who experience pain. I have a song with your name on it, asshole. Using your audience as a weapon to target others, so you can hide behind your fake persona or bullshit. Now apparently during an argument with Jessie and her dad, apparently her dad punched her in the mouth. He was in fact arrested for this. Due to this punch, she was in fact placed in social services and taken away from her family. And you know what, bitch? I blame Dahvie for the deconstruction of this young girl's life. However, while she was in social services, she released this video in 2011. Let's take a look at this.
Okay, Jessie Slaughter here, and I'm saying sorry for everything that I've done. I feel really bad about it now. I'm in foster care. I have been locked up in mental institutions, and just like you done Goose said, I do have to go to counseling now and everything, but it's not because of you. I'm really sorry for everything that I've done. I'm sorry for accusing you of rape and everything. I know that all that happened.
My friends, what you are witnessing is a girl who had very little guidance, scared, isolated, and you targeted this young girl. Clearly she was trying to stop all the hate she was receiving for coming out and saying that you abused her, sexually molested her, and you sent your fans to attack her, didn't you, asshole? And now she's scared, all because of this furry-headed cunt. But ladies and gentlemen, she's finally come out and told her full story about the situation, regardless of the hate. So I think there's only one thing left to do personally, and that's to open up the final file on this tape. Let's do this. Severe rape content warning, as I'm going to talk about the instance of rape and sexual misconduct by Dahvie Vanity, David Jesus Torres, towards me. People still don't believe me and ask me stupid questions like this all the time, even after all the allegations against him, even after him getting kicked out of tours, even after former friends and bandmates coming out against him. People still ask me, of all people, if/why I lied about Dahvie Vanity. I didn't. I'm not going to go into great detail of what happened to me, at least not publicly without legal advisors. Clearly, and without hesitation, Dahvie Vanity / David Jesus Torres. Me. He is an abuser, sexually, emotionally and physically. I'm not afraid of him anymore. I am not afraid of the fan base he got to attack me. Till I recanted my statement when I was 11 to 12, I am no longer staying silent. Not after so many young kids got hurt after me.
Hello Dahvie Vanity. You have been selected for trial. In June 2007, you sexually assaulted Diana Farrell, age 14. In July 2010, you sexually assaulted Jessie Slaughter, age 11. For the next following months, you proceeded to make Jessie's life a living hell by releasing her private information to the public eye, using your fans as a weapon to target young Jessie Slaughter. This forced her into depression, forcing her to harm herself. Enough stress to cause her father a heart attack. Your lack of remorse is what led you here. Your delusion, your lack of ability to care for others. Now you must face the consequences. Your time is over. Now the internet will target you, the way you targeted Jessie Slaughter. We do not stop until justice is served.
You mad, bro? Yo, I said tell me what you mad for. You mad, bro? Yo, I said tell me what you mad for.